The following is an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.
All right, Coach. Well, coming off of the first conference win of the season, why don't you wrap that up for us?
I'm very pleased. You know, we got a chance to go down to Norfolk and did some really good things offensively and defensively. I thought our offense played it well at some times. We were able to gain over 400 yards of offense, and defensively we were bend but don't break. You know, unfortunately, we had a couple of turnovers that put their offense in a really good position. But at the end of the day, our defense held tight, and we were able to hold them to field goals. And it showed a lot about our character of our team and our defense in those moments. So very pleased. Anytime you get a win, you're always excited. Being 1-0 in the conference is really good right now.
And just getting into more of the meat of it, what was going well on offense that you were able to move the ball so efficiently? I
thought Malcolm Bell was a big part of it, and Ramon Simpson did a great job of coming in, playing extremely well for the injured Darrell McClain. Ramon came in and he had almost 150, 160 yards of total offense, caught the ball well out the backfield, and then had some hard, tough-nosed runs, especially down the stretch. He did extremely well. Malcolm, there were some times where plays broke down, and you saw Malcolm Bell do what he's done a lot in the past, and that's able to generate some plays with his legs. And that was probably one of the biggest keys in the game.
Can you kind of elaborate on you guys, the first three games were all blowouts, one way or another. But this was the first game you had a little adversity. You got up and they came back. You said character. Can you talk about how this game built some character for you guys?
It did. You know, unfortunately, anytime you get a chance to build some character, certain situations in games, that's one of the things you're looking for your team, to come together as a team, come together as a program, and then coaches, players, everybody find a way to win football games. We went into halftime. We talked about the penalties. We talked about some of the things that we were doing as a team that were hurting ourselves. We feel like, when we're playing the style of football and the quality of football that we know how to play, it is tough for anybody to stay on the field with us.
Going back now and having looked at the film and reviewed the penalties, I know after the game you said it was too soon to kind of assess everything. Mm-hmm. But now that you looked at it, talk about those penalties and how much some of those really were big plays that hurt you guys.
I think the biggest thing is we got to get back to fundamentals. This week we got to do a better job with our offensive line. We had about 4 or 5 penalties up front that were called on those guys. We got to do a better job of moving our feet, maintaining contact with our blocks, and making sure we know exactly who we're working to all the times. Some of the unsportsmanlike conducts, we address those on Sunday, and we'll continue to address them as the week goes on. But that was really uncharacteristic of a football team that we've been putting on the field for the last couple of years. We've been one of the least penalized teams. We want to try to continue to be in the upper half of the conference at least penalized. So we got our work cut out for us. We got some things we have to do internally to make sure that doesn't happen.
Through 4 games, is that one of the bigger disappointments, the penalties, how high they've been the last couple of games?
I think no doubt. I think we take away a lot of those penalties in that last game. I think with offensive production, we're a lot better. I think some of the turnovers don't happen. And it is a lot to do with discipline and focus. And that was some of the things that we have to address going forward. Every team has things they have to work on, and we're no different. But right now, as a program, as a team, that's one of the things that we have to address.
You said it was handled Sunday. The whole team, or just the people who penalties were called on?
No, the whole team. We win as a team, we lose as a team. Those penalties, at the end of the day, they hurt the offense, defense, or special teams in some kind of capacity. Even though they may have been, anybody got only one part of the ball got them, we still have to address it as the entire team.
Then they get the message.
We'll see. I think every day we go out there and try to get a little bit better, and we try to make sure that we continue to address that is the focus for this week. We can't do things that hurt ourselves. It's hard enough playing against the team, and especially on the road against the fans, against the band. But when you have self-inflicted wounds, those are some of the things that we can control, and we got to try to eliminate those.
And the comeback, obviously some of that was Norfolk State. They did some things too, but you had the 2 penalties that moved you guys from scoring position offensively, and then you had the ones that moved them closer when Reggie threw the guy out of bounds late. Which one was more damaging to the team?
I think they all are. Anytime you stall a drive, Norfolk was able to get 2 more possessions probably than they normally would have because we threw the interception and because of the mishap on the kickoff return. So we lost those 2 possessions, which could have put us in a better situation. We felt good about the series that we had scripted going into that interception. We felt good about the series we scripted before the kickoff return mishap. So those 2 things probably could have put us in a situation where we would have been closer to 40 points, closer to more yards, things like that. And we could have separated probably a little bit more within the game. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, and that's part of the game. So to see those guys rebound from those mistakes and still come together and defensively do some good things, that was the biggest thing.
What did you learn about your defense with the situation where bend don't break? I mean, if one of those possessions that they force a field goal turns into a touchdown, then this game goes another way. So what did you learn about the defense with those stops?
I thought up front, from our defensive line and our front seven and our linebacker core, those guys, I thought they did a great job of coming together as a unit and putting their foot down. I think when they decide that they don't want to get the ball ran on them or they want to put pressure on the quarterback, I thought guys like Jaquan Smith and Antonio Brown, and I could go on and on about other guys, but those guys did a great job of putting pressure on the quarterback and corralling to the quarterback and made them throw erratic balls or even put pressure on them where we got sacks.
Coach, you got a Bethune-Cookman team who's 0-1 in the MEAC. What do you see from them that could be a problem if you see it?
It's all over the field. Right now, from an offensive standpoint, they've been struggling some on offense, but, we know that's not going to be for very long. We know they have explosive playmakers on the perimeter, quarterback who's had some success and he's experienced, running game. They got some guys that haven't played as much in the past, but they're doing some good things as far as the running back position. On the defense side of the ball, those guys still fly around to the ball. I mean, you just watch all over the field. There are guys on Bethune-Cookman's team that they probably could play at any level or anywhere in the country right now. And, they've been struggling some, but that won't be long.
And I imagine it's probably a better question for the players as well, but Bethune was the #1 rushing offense in the conference. So they're going to challenge your guys up front with your front seven. How much you think they're looking forward to that challenge on Saturday? I
think they're fired up. I think as a team, as an entire team, we're fired up just to go down there and have a chance to battle one of the co-champs in the conference. I think it's a great test to see kind of where we are again, this year as a football program, as a football team. Bethune has always been a challenging game for our program. Last year it came down to the wire, and it's probably going to be a similar situation this year.
Coach, talk about revenge games that were ever come up because of what happened last year and what it meant.
I think, not necessarily revenge, but, I think it's in the back of everybody's mind as far as what happened here last year. But, that was last year. The team is different this year. We're different. They're different. So, we got to go out there and play with the teams that's on the field, and the players is going to be available as well. So, some of these guys that we have on our football team, they weren't here last year, so they don't really remember. They just see the film or they see the highlights of what happened last year. So it's going to be important that although that is a great memorable moment, it's a learning situation for us, we still have to put that in the back of our mind because Saturday is going to present an entire new challenge.
How much of it though do you remember that game?
I remember every bit of it. I remember every bit of it for the last 363 days. So we have to learn and grow from those experiences, the good things and the bad things that happened in that course in that game.
You mentioned put it in the back of your mind. Is it in the way back of your mind, that's the one team in the MEAC that you haven't gotten a victory against? Does the coach think about things like that?
I do. We've been able to have success against a lot of teams in the conference and a lot of teams outside of the conference, but, we are still facing that as a program. I think we haven't been Bethune-Cookman since the 90s, so it's the same challenging situation. We have to find a way to overcome that obstacle and take that next step as a program and figure out a way to beat a contender like Bethune-Cookman.
Last week against Norfolk, you guys were up big. Then last year against Bethune, you was up big going to the fourth quarter. What is it that you guys have to do differently just to be able to hold that lead and put teams away?
We got to grow and mature as a team. We still have not gotten to that level yet, but we feel like, when we get up on an opponent, we know how to finish them off. And I think that is one of our biggest struggles as a program right now and as a team. We're constantly facing that. We're constantly preaching to our young men. Those guys constantly have that in the back of their head. And that's what I'm most looking forward to this year is can we take that next step and to go out there at a hostile environment like a Bethune-Cookman and try to finish and try to win a game. And also, too, like you said, when we do get a lead on teams, till we go ahead and finish them off.
I imagine your play calling doesn't change when you're up. Do you see anything different from them? Do they relax a little bit, or what is it that you guys does anything change?
It's just hard to say. I think it's more about momentum more than anything. When your opponent gets momentum, whether it's a course of a fumble or they force you into a 3-out or they get a big play for that matter, I think kids tend to play a little bit harder and they take it to another level. And that's one thing that we have got to learn how to survive and overcome. Teams, when they get a momentum swing, we have to learn how to match their intensity and play to another level as well.
Is it going to be hard to preach to the guys this week, like, don't look at their record? I mean, it's easy for kids to look at their record, like, oh, they're 0-3, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys are smart enough to know that Bethune-Cookman is a champion. And when you play a championship caliber program, championship caliber team, you have to be ready because their back's against the wall. They're looking to get a win, and they're going to come in this game fired up to win the game. It's a MEAC conference game. Everybody's hopes and dreams are still on the table. For the last few years, the teams that have won a share of the championship all have at least 1 or 2 losses. So they know their championship dreams are still available, and ours are as well.
Is it encouraging to you? I mean, you were on the sidelines, obviously. I wasn't, so it's easy for you to tell. Did your guys' demeanor or approach change at all when Norfolk State was kind of, creeping back into the game?
I think, they became more intense, more focused. We got a chance to get the ball back on offense, and we knew that we had to obviously recover the onside kick, but we knew we had to run the clock out or we had to get a couple of first downs in order to secure that victory. And you could see the offensive line take their game up another level. Ramon Simpson did a great job protecting the football and carrying the football down into their territory. So, I saw that intensity and I saw that focus increase those last minute or so in the game.
And then Bethune has the #1 pass defense in the league, but I imagine you feel pretty good with one of the best quarterbacks going in the league, going down there and all these dangerous receivers you have. Talk about your offense versus their pass defense.
I feel confident about our offense in general, pass game and run game. I think passing wise, like you said, last year we did not have any of these guys really available that we have at our dispense right now. And obviously Malcolm Bell has really grown as a passer, like I continues to preach. And then offensively in the run game, we're getting Darrell McClain back this week, and Ramon Simpson coming off a great game. Torrey Cotton has shown flashes that he has big play potential. So we feel really good about our entire offense. Offensive line is doing extremely well, and they're healthy. So, we're looking forward to, putting a great product on the field and just making sure we go out there and execute at a high level.
I talked to Torrey after the game, not Torrey, Ramon. He said he played a little slot receiver in high school.
Right.
Did he switch over to running back once he got here, or he was already a running back once you recruited him?
No, he played running back. That was his primary position, but he also did some things from the slot receiver perspective in high school. Matter of fact, about his second day of camp as a true freshman, we moved him to slot receiver just to see what that would look like. It wasn't quite as polished as we would have liked, so we moved him back to running back, and he's been just an asset ever since he stepped on the field. Even last year against Bethune-Cookman, he had some really explosive runs and did some really good things for us.
How much does it help your offense? You got guys you can package in like that. Because I remember against St. Aul, Jason's a receiver, but you put him in the backfield a couple of times, and Torrey, he can line up wide. How much more dangerous does that make you guys on offense?
Just versatility. We've never been a situation where we're a one-man show. We've always liked to spread the ball around to try to keep the defense off balance. We've always tried to make sure people got their touches, and we try to put them in situations that highlight their ability. And that's the biggest thing that we try to do. Put those guys in situations where they can touch the ball in space and they can become a playmaker.
Do your guys, you think, need a history lesson this week about the history between Bethune and Central and the fact that Central hasn't beaten them since the 90s?
I think we're aware of that. I think that's kind of on the forefront of everybody's mind. So a great challenge. We talk about one of the things this year being our tradition, our legacy. What kind of tradition do you want to have? What kind of legacy you want to leave, for that matter? And I think this would be a great situation to leave, being a senior group, being the only senior group in the last probably almost 20 years to beat Bethune-Cookman.
You've got LeGrande Harley is going to come in a little later on today. He hasn't experienced this game, being new to NCCU, but what has he brought to your defense?
Just a maturity level from LeGrande more than anything. He's an older, more mature player. When things get tough, you can go back to that situation we had this past week when we gave up field goals as opposed to touchdowns. LeGrande is a guy that those guys look to. When he speaks, everyone listens. He's not a loud, rah-rah type of player, but when he does speak, you can tell those guys they really want to see what he has to say, because they know when LeGrande speaks, it's going to be something serious. And for him to kind of lead our troops right now, one of our defensive leaders, is big for our entire team.
LeGrande, you're coming off of a win against Norfolk State, first conference game of the year, and really the defense played a huge part in that. We've heard the phrase "bend, don't break." There were 3 times where they got inside the red zone, and you guys held them to field goals. How big was that in that ball game?
That was real big. We talk about that in practice by staying detailed and staying focused, and just make sure you know your gaps, assignments, and whatever the coach gives it to, we just try to execute it.
You say hold each other accountable. Penalties were a big deal this last game. I think I had like 13 penalties for a lot of yards. Was it just mental mistakes or just mental letdowns? What do you attribute most of those penalties to?
It was kind of being selfish at the moment. But I mean, people getting see the ups and downs, and we was kind of losing and going back and forth. So people kind of got upset and kind of taking it into their own hands, which they shouldn't have. But next week it should be better. It should be different.
Coach said the penalties were addressed Sunday and will be addressed throughout the week. What does he mean by they were addressed? That you can share with us.
That's something we had to take care of in practice. Just something we had to do, and we did it, and now it's time to move on.
As a leader, do any other leaders on this team step up and talk to guys about penalties and like during the game or during meetings or practice and how much they can come back and maybe hurt you guys down the road sometime?
Well, yeah, in the game when they get the penalty, we're trying to tell them to stay focused and make sure they don't get out of character because, that's a big thing. So when they get penalties, we just pull them to the side, tell them, stay in character, stay focused, and let's finish the game.
Coach said that you're one of the, if not the leader on defense, that the guys respect you and they look to you, and when you talk, they listen. So what was the message on Saturday when you guys were, you had your backs up against the wall in those instances when Norfolk's in the red zone threatening to score? What was your message to the defensive unit?
I just kind of told them to stay focused, never get out the character, because when you try to do your own thing, it don't go the right way. So I try to tell them in a calm voice to stay calm, because if you get out of hand and you start yelling, they're not gonna listen. So I always try to stay calm with them and let them know I'm calm, and when we stay calm together, we'll pull it out.
And you were sitting out last year. Were you on the sidelines during the Bethune-Cookman game?
I was.
What are your memories?
I know I wanted to be out there, and I know I'm going to be out there this Saturday, and I'm going to play my hardest.
Does Coach pull you to a side and say, hey, you're an experienced guy, talk more, lead more, or are you just naturally a leader like that?
Sometimes I could improve a little bit more. So once he told me that in the beginning of the season, I kind of took it in my own hands to start leading more.
Do you lead by, how do you know when to pull a guy over, and how do you know when to be vocal or to lead by example?
Well, when a guy gets down, he kind of shows it. He put his head down, and he trying to go. He have his own moments. So when I see that, I look in that, and I just pull him to the side and tell him, it's gonna be all right. Stay calm, stay cool, and just tell him keep his head in the game. Once if you mess up or if you do that, they got to go in the pass. So you got to put that in the pass and move forward.
Is that a natural thing, just being the middle linebacker and kind of like the quarterback of the defense?
It's really not. I kind of learned it when I got here because, I played running back through high school, and I kind of just switched to linebacker. So I know as a linebacker, you got to be a leader. So that's what I try to do. I try to keep the guys focused and keep them in character and just play ball.
As a linebacker, Bethune-Cookman they lead the conference in rushing, which means, they're going to do what they do, which is probably try to run the ball. As a linebacker, how much do your eyes light up knowing that they're going to try to keep coming at you guys all day?
It light up real heavy because I know me being here, I came here for a reason, and the coaches see something in me, and I'm not going to let them just run all over us or our defense. I know we got a big part in our secondary, but we got a challenge this week, and we're going to try to step up to the plate and accept that challenge.
Are they a physical, like smash mouth come at you group, or are they going to try to, use their speed to the outside?
They're downhill,
yeah.
But we got some linebackers that's downhill too. So it's gonna be a good match.
I imagine you like a downhill style.
I love it.
You don't like it, you love it.
I love it.
You guys, you're an experienced veteran guy. You have to try to preach to guys to not pay attention to their record. Bethune was 0-3. It can be easy for the guys to look at it like, they're nothing. Like, how much are you going to tell them, hey, records don't matter in a game like this?
Well, I kind of preach it to them already because, they just lost to Savannah State, and that don't matter because when everybody play Central, everybody bring their best. So I try to tell the guys, just stay focused, stay calm, and let's play our game. Let's go get this win.
This has been an exclusive presentation of the NCCU Sports Network.